Good afternoon, good evening, good zinta, good y'all, whatever it may be where you are. I'm Not Sports Cards. Hope you're doing well. Remember to like and subscribe. Every new subscriber we get this month, we're doing a new video. So if you like these things, hit subscribe. You could be the reason we're doing this video or maybe the next one. Been doing a ton of them. On this episode, we're going to do one of people's favorites videos where I do a Star Wars card market update. Going to rip around the world. We're going to look at some sales data, some huge sales over at Heritage, some eBay data. We'll look at some population reports over on GemRate. We'll look at some wax prices, maybe look even at some Galaxy. We'll bounce around and we'll try to get a pulse on the state of the Star Wars card market. So here we go. Creator, Luke, Leia, Spider-Man, Harry Potter, Darth Vader.
Collect what you like. They say
cards
are crap. Grading is a scam. Sit back, relax, enjoy the show. It's your jam.
All right, enough of this song. You guys get it. You get it. We got our own theme music here. I'll kick this up onto the big screen here. There we go. There were two big sales over at Heritage. There were two PSA 10s of main characters, some of the biggest Star Wars cards you'll see. We had a Leia up here, and we had a Han Solo up here. I don't follow these as closely as I used to. I'm just kind of not really buying high-end Star Wars vintage right now. So the two sales were the Leia went for $6,600 with buyer's premium, and the Han went for $10,800 with buyer's premium. Okay, so some things about these. We'll start with the Leia. That's bad news, good news. Good news, bad news. A Leia, so this is $5,500 plus the buyer's premium, which brought it to $6,600. That's a really low price for this. And one of the things that I looked up when I was messing around was that the population of that in a PSA 10 is 15. Okay, there are not a lot of them. But guess what happened? We have gotten 3 new ones of these in this calendar year. In the last 10 months, we've seen 3 new ones of these. They've been grading these cards for, let's just say 20 years, and we had 12, and we get 3 more. And if you go all the way back to the beginning of this, which is almost over 3 years ago, so we haven't had any in 3 years, and then we get 3 this year. Can you say card cleaning? I can. Card cleaning. You can never be sure of that, but it's pretty freaking weird. And that might have something to do with the low price. I don't know. You can be conspiracy theory all you want. It doesn't mean but these are the new ones in theory. Could it be a reholder? Not sure. I mean, the card looks perfect. I mean, it looks really good. I mean, I don't see any issues with this card. So, but yeah, I mean, I have to admit, I wish I had known. I at least would have considered it at this price. Who knows what it would have gone for above this? Is that a mark right there? I highly doubt it. Yeah, so that going for $6,600 is low. I would have thought these cards would have gone at different prices. I think Han Solo is a better character, but Han Solo does have the 58 as well. For those of you who've been following this channel for a while, know that this is actually the most valuable card I have in my collection. I own one of the 11 Han Solos. There were only 10. There are now 11. I wear this one. It looks very good. There is a print dot on here. I don't know. Trying to decide what's a 9, whatever. Try to decide what's a 9 and what's a 10. It's very difficult. And we put an enormous premium. To give you an idea, these cards go for anywhere between $500 and $1,000 in a PSA 9. So for this card, we're talking about a 10 to 20 time multiplier on it, and this card we're talking about about a 10 to 12 times multiplier on it. And you can also see the difference between there being 15 of a card and 11 of a card. You can have a big difference on price. I just I don't know what much to say about this other than I'm glad that this went for as much as it would. I always believe that even though auctions are kind of how high-end cards get sold, I would not auction my card. You're just asking to get out of it. I would not sell my card for this price. It's irreplaceable. A singular auction cannot define a market, but like for anybody who's out there buying, modern superfractor autos, like there's no Carrie Fisher auto superfractor whatever that is worth more than a PSA 10 of the 1977 card. It's just not, it's an opinion. Everything I say is an opinion, right? The market is the market. The market will decide. I'm just talking long term. When they've got the storage vault full of Carrie Fisher stickers, they can just slap it on a new shiny thing next year. But yeah, so again, people are out there paying 5 figures for Star Wars cards for Han Solo. So good to know it. I wonder if one of my friends bought this. I should ask him. I know he was in the market for one of these, but yeah, so that's going on. I want to go over. We'll swing over and look at we'll go back to sales data in a minute, but I just want to look at a little bit of a population report. Give you an update. I want to look at 77 Star Wars, and we'll look at 2024 Chrome, just to give you an idea of like how fast people are grading cards and what's going on. So this is the 77 chart. I'll zoom it in here, which shows you how many cards have been graded. We have almost hit 100,000. When they started this thing a little over 3 years ago, we were at 48,000. So we are, a full 100% increase in the total amount of Star Wars 77 cards graded in the past 3 years, which creates a glut on the market and creates downward pressure. We'll look into some sales and prices and stuff as well, but you can also see that this is starting to flatten. You don't see that huge uptick. We've graded, like 1,000 cards a month ish. The truth is that there's not a lot of money in cards that are eights, right? Eights and nines. So 77 Star Wars has 5 series, if you don't know. And this would include all 5 of them. For the most part, the value lies in Series 1, the first 66 cards. Then sporadically throughout the rest of them, there are cards that have high value based on set registry and set collection. And also there's some cool cards throughout the set that that you might be interested. Like there's some cool Vader cards throughout it. I collect some of the cards that you have the term the Force in it. I think there are only 5 cards that have the Force in it. But yeah, so we're seeing it. We're not seeing a ton of PSA 10s. We had 1 PSA 10 in the last month. We did have a bunch right before that. I'd covered that in a video like a few months ago. Yeah, I mean, the idea of supply and demand, meaning the more of these that are people grading, the more on the market. And there's some great deals out there on 77 cards, but the market is honing in on the Series 1 and the best looking cards, right? It really is the biggest cards, the best cards, and the rarest high grade ones are the only ones that are really selling from this set. Well, we're going to take a spin real quickly to look at 2024 Chrome. Just want to give you a sense. So this was the big set that came out this summer that everybody got into. And this is just showing weekly growth rate, but you can see it that we're starting to get this kind of hockey stick of this stuff, which, they're running specials, and at $14 is a terrible grading. Remember, they're going to charge you about $2 shipping. You got to ship it. You got to pay tax. You got to do all these things. So, $16, $17 to grade a card. And the gem rate is, I believe, 44%. We'll go over here. We're going to just we'll do a spin right now of auctions ending right now. Basically, what I would tell you is I'm against grading like 99% of ultra modern cards, Star Wars cards. So that really is kind of 2018 forward. it really 20, maybe 2018, 2020. They just don't add, like, the grade doesn't add any value. You're seeing like a Hera Gold PSA 10 has a bid. It might sell, but this card will sell for 20 bucks. It got a 10. So like the value of putting a 10 on a modern card really isn't there right now. Doesn't mean the card's not worth value. Doesn't have value. I think collectors, especially for like rare numbered cards, kind of don't build it in as much. They want the card before they want the grade. On vintage stuff, people kind of want the grade, and even maybe semi-vintage. Like I don't want to act like it doesn't matter. It matters, but it just doesn't. Again, you want to grade this out of 5, sure, right? Like, and you get a 10, cool. Like, it definitely adds value. But grading most other stuff, you'll see it's not selling. I mean, obviously, I don't even know why somebody would pay $2.80 for this. I coined the phrase a glorified one touch for PSA holders, and for a lot of cards, that's what it ends up being. Looking through this, you can see, I mean, these are all ending in the next 5 minutes. A lot of PSA 7s out here. I had 2 orders recently. One I got absolutely murdered on, and one I did well on. And if you get these 7s, it's like, this is in the vault, but like if you had this at your house, you're better off cracking it. You'll sell it for more cracked. I can't do it myself. When I get a bad grade, I'm like, because I don't crack and resubmit for the most part. And I'm just like, F it, leave it in there. If I don't believe them, whatever. R2D2. People mix stuff in like Snoke. Like, I mean, I'm not telling you what to do. I'm telling you what I think is, creating value. And I don't think you're creating value even out of 25, especially like a card like Riva. Like, why are you grading a Riva? I don't know. Like, so, if you're a buyer and you're a collector right now on these cards that people probably shouldn't have graded, if you like graded cards, I bought a graded card the other day for $2. It was like a Mandalorian Tops Now card. I was like, I don't own any of these, and it's $2. Like, I'll buy it, right? Glorified one touch. One touch cost me about $1. This one has a number on it and images. So, we're seeing here. By the way, this is my second go at recording this. I tried to record this earlier. My computer crashed. So when I was going through this earlier, I was actually bidding on stuff. I saw some of these Mando Beskar Chrome stuff. I am way into Mando right now, but here's like a PSA 7, good luck Luke, $3.25. Throw it right into the PSA vault, right? Like, I don't know. I have to look at it, right? Because okay, it has the yellow on the side. I was like, that looks like a really nice card. Like, there's a miscut yellow piece at the end of here. So I was like, all right. I mean, I'm not buying it. You'll see a lot of stuff in here where, like, see a lot of stuff that's just not going to catch bids. Here's a book of, like, this is the type of card that I bought the other day. It's like, here you go, $3. Like, we all need to stop doing that. I'm going to do a separate video on this, but I will tell you that there is a neat thing that PSA has integrated into eBay where they are, oh, geez, I'm going to have to bid on that in a second. They integrated pop reports for certain sellers. So, like, if you go into here on certain sellers, I saw it for 4 Sharp Corners. It has this little thing that says PSA information, and you can see the pop report for that specific card. Yeah, it's actually really cool. I'm usually a guy who doesn't care about these things. All right, I don't know. What do I want to pay for one of these? Ooh, let me see. How good does this look? I know, like a little touch right there. Why am I even bidding this if I'm anti-source? I just sold one of these for $100. I think I sold it for $110 in an 8. So listen, people are out there. People, like, if you're patient in the non-sports card market and you don't auction, and you have that time, obviously, if you're making money and you're turning money, there's a benefit to that. But like, if you're collecting and you're like, PSA 9, all right, we'll go 111 and we'll let. All right, they can have it at that point, because remember, 111 plus taxes and shipping, we're at whatever, 125. Still a good price, I think. I think this is one of the most undervalued cards. So there is action out there. This is the type of card that there's action on. Like I said, I'm selling. I've sold some 77 Star Wars cards recently. But the things that are not selling is kind of this modern stuff. There's just too much of it out there. And kind of like 77 stuff that's like, what is this? Like, okay, here's like a Series 5 sticker PSA 9. Yeah, it's cool. It might be rare, but nobody wants it. Here's a Luke PSA 8 sticker. All right. I don't even know what these go for, but we're going to bid 104 while we're here. I don't bid this stuff anymore. Your current bid puts you in the lead. Oh, cool. All right. I hope I win. A PSA 8 sticker is like, the stickers are harder to grade than the actual cards, and a PSA 8 Luke card goes for $800. So got an R2 sticker, got a bunch of other stuff. So I guess we're going to be bidding while we're looking at some of the stuff that's up for auction. You can see people. I mean, these are Argentinian stickers. They've been up here for a while. I'm going to switch to sold in a second, but I just want to show you some more of the listings. For the most part, these are not. A lot of stuff's not moving unless you want to go super low. Like here's some PSA 8 Series 4s. I will tell you, if this was in the PSA vault, I would buy it because I don't have to pay shipping or taxes. Hey, we did the Han Solo earlier, and I said that these go for, man, I dare you to look at this card and tell me the difference between this and the. It looks like there's a line here. That I think that might be just. I think that's just the slab. Maybe this corner up here. I don't know. I mean, it's so hard. And you're telling me the other ones were 33 times as much. I own one of these. I mean, I'm not going to buy 9 or 10. If I was doing this live, I would recommend that you buy this. I wonder what it'll go for. Always fun to rip through here. PSA 9. It's Christmas time. Oh, $60. All right. Because like you see it here, it says 45. I clicked through, it says 60. I was going to bid on it. 8.5s, one of my favorite grade is an 8.5 because almost 8.5s you will find 9s that aren't as good. Again, I'm not like a buyer of these cards, but I've been doing this long enough that I know what they're worth. Therefore, I know I'm not going to get hurt. I think I sold one of these too. I forget what I sold one of these. So yeah, there was, I'm going to go through the other stuff. There was a big auction on some PSAs for 4 Sharp Corners, which I am of course banned on for no fucking good reason. And we're going to go through those sales in a minute. So this is the 3PO and R2D2 rookie. All right, don't worry. I'll get to some modern stuff. I got some boxes kicked up here, whatever. But let's go over and look at some. Where do I have the sales? I don't have the sales. We can do it here. All right, we'll just go over here. We'll hit sold. Again, I had all these tabs opened and ready to go earlier, and we can see some of the ones we were just looking at. Here's a Rosario Dawson. Like, I just don't think this being graded adds any value. Chewbacca. You're going to see more cards that go under the cost of grading than over. I mean, I'm not really a Star Wars Unlimited, especially, again, you have the Timothy Oliphant. Does it really matter that it's in a slab? I don't know. Yeah. You got this Shinhati was like the big card from 2024 Chrome. Here's an out of 99 PSA 10 gets $42. Just, these are not holding their value the way people want. I mean, the zeitgeist is a funny thing in the sense that, like, in the moment, we're all prisoners of the moment. Like, this is the greatest thing. These are amazing. And then time marches on. Something new comes out, and you're like, this is the greatest thing. It's why you're better off waiting, right? Like, don't get sucked in by those things. Throwback Thursday is just something that I don't think should be graded almost ever. You can see some here. This is the card I bid on earlier when I was doing the video, and it was like at $250. It sold for $13.50. It's a PSA 10 from Beskar. Hopefully we'll get to those bigger sales. Okay, so here's some bigger sales of 77 cards. These are PSA 10s. They're old labels. I used to own, for all I know, I own that. I guess I definitely own this card here. At one point in a PSA 10. I don't know what the pop is, but I sold it because I got a very good price, much higher than this. If I weren't banned from four sharp corners, I would have been a bidder on some of the stuff. But anytime you can get a PSA 10 that has Luke, Leia, and Chewbacca in it for $350, I think it's a deal, right? Like this series specifically, which is series 3, yellow is the easiest to grade. So, something to keep in mind for most of the cards. There are some cards that are harder to grade, but you can see, 209, C3PO is like death. For whatever reason, C3PO is worth just nothing. Like C3PO brings down the value of the cards. I'm still a buyer. I would have been a buyer at almost all of these prices here. And that's why four sharp corners sucks, because I am banned for 2 years ago canceling an order that was below market that I was like, I don't want it. This person probably doesn't want to sell at this price. You got an Uncle Owen and a Luke for PSA 10 for $169. Auctioning this time of year is like super, like, asking for the lowest prices you can get. You see this card. Certain cards go higher because of their pop report and that people need them to complete their sets. But I think these were all pretty fantastic deals. Now you have a Grogu PSA 10 Throwback Thursday. Couldn't even get grading fees. You have to ask yourself if, this card's an interesting card. I'll open this link here. It's a card because when you look at it, you're like, this card sucks. But like Vader's in it. Like this is the meeting where Vader, it's a Grand Moff Tarkin. It's not the best image, but if I can get a PSA 10 that has Vader in it, he's not in that many cards, believe it or not. Like I'm buying it. I mean, I definitely would have bought this card. There's no doubt about it. I mean, you're looking at, do I want a Sabine Wren? Sabine might be an exception because this is her rookie auto, but we may get 9 more other sets that have her rookie auto on it. They didn't put the debut thing. I'll give you a better sense. Do you want to buy a box of Galaxy, or do you want a 1977 PSA 10? You may want a box of Galaxy. We're different. I'm just saying that, when you talk about expected value, this is, you're buying a shit coin and this is blue chip stocks, right? If you don't like it, you don't like it, right? Here's a great one. Like this one, I don't know if I would have been in. I don't know if I would have paid the price. And I keep saying with auctions, you don't know what the person who won was willing to pay. You basically know what the person who lost was willing to pay. But this is Learn About the Force, one of the Force cards, $408. Fantastic buy. I mean, just some stuff out there that, again, if you're a buyer, fantastic. If you're a seller, right, you just have to decide, is there a better place for your money? You need the money. You want to get out of cards. I mean, I'm really bummed. I have to set up a separate eBay account because there are too many times on four sharp corners where I'm like, I would buy that. And this is just crazy. Here are some big sales. So, suppose I had a friend who was going after one of these cards. This is a Boba Fett. This is called the Bounty Hunter Boba Fett. There's the Captor Boba Fett. It's a PSA 10. I don't think it has a huge pop. I think, but it's not super low. Do you want me to look? All right, we'll try to look. All right, we'll look up Boba Fett here. Boba Fett. That's Biba Fett. That's not going to do us any good. It went for $1,500 in a PSA 10. Now, I was mentioning before, big cards, nice looking cards. That's a nice looking card. It's the Bounty Hunter. So it's this card here. It has a gem of, there are 24 of them. So it's not, certainly not 0, right? And I got to look at this for a second. Hold the phone. I just want to look at something here. All right. This is the Boba Fett Star Files card, the Boba Fett rookie. There was a new 10 of that this year. But again, we're going to go backwards. We're going to click through all these. We'll get there. We'll find it. So yeah, the Bounty Hunter Boba Fett, there 24 of them went for $1,410. Let's look at these bids real quick. See what we can, is there anything weird? I don't know. I don't know how to, Probstein this isn't Probstein, this is Four Sharp Corners. So they're not known for chilling as much as some other sites. So it's a good price. I mean, I've definitely had a chance to buy this card cheaper than this. So it's always nice to see it. But somebody could just, again, they're not, all these cards are just not up for sale. Whereas, hey, Forrest Whitaker out of 25, whatever, you're going to find them all the time. Here's the Captor Boba Fett. I prefer the other one, the Bounty Hunter. My buddy was actually bidding on this one. I said, why aren't you bidding on the other one? The other one was actually lower at that point. The Captor Boba Fett, we had that up here. The Captor, that only has a pop of 12, but still, cool cards. Fun to see them at auction. Here's a Series 2. Series 2 is really hard to grade. And there was a lot of stuff. Here's a PSA 9. So this is the Boba Rookie and a PSA 9. These things used to be $350 to $400. They've been popping up lately, and they're not getting that much. I want one. Don't have one. And I definitely would have paid this price. Have I mentioned I'm banned? Oh, wow. It's a gorgeous card. This is Series 1. There are a handful of great cards. As I mentioned, there are not a lot of cool Darth Vader cards. And this is Darth Vader and Princess Leia, number 10, PSA 10. I mean, yeah. Am I paying this for this right now? No, this is, like I said, this is not what I'm collecting right now, even though in truth, you're probably better off owning this card over any of the other cards that we showed at $1,000. Here, I think there's a way to do this somehow. There's a link to PSA on one of these things where they tell you, let's see here, somewhere. Man, I thought there's a way to, oh, here we go. Visit PSA. I'm just interested to see what the pop report is on that. I'm missing Sunday Night Football. Today is the late, great Russell Cacciatore's birthday. Fat Russell himself, the guy who got me into card collecting. The number 10, there are 23 of those in PSA 10. Not a high pop. Beautiful card. I think I have it in a 9. Yeah. When I first started buying big cards, I got into it with a partner, and he has some of my cards, and I have a couple of big ones. I think we actually may have that in a PSA. We have either that or the 17 in a PSA 10. But cool card, $1,000, good price. This card, definitely, this is one of my favorite cards. At 611 is such a steal. I call this the Jedi Mind Trick card. These are not the droids you're looking for. 611. Just keep this in mind when you're looking at what you're paying for modern cards. I think these are cheap. I think it's a bat. I've spent my life in a lot of seasonal businesses, and I will tell you that high-end cards, you want to be a buyer in the month of December, not a seller, right? People are not, if anybody's buying right now, they're basically like, I have to buy a gift for myself because nobody knows what I want. And that's, I find myself doing that. I'm like, nobody's going to know I want that card. And there are a lot of PSA 10s out here. Got a Shin Hati Auto going for $150. Okay, so this is a massive sale. So I mentioned earlier that there are, some Vader cards. I didn't even know this was up. So this is Lord Darth Vader. This sold for more than the Princess Leia. Okay. We're going to look at the pop report right quick and see what the pop is for this. But it's an old label. You can always nitpick these cards. It looks pretty clean. Maybe a little bit slanted there. Old labels are always scary. Seen that Turner's video with Neo for a why. What card number is that? It is 196. I don't know what the pop is on that. I mentioned that set grades easier, but not that card. It's a weird card. I don't think the pop is super high on that. 196, 12. So, I mean, it has a similar pop to the Leia card. Over time, the market gets to decide what's worth what. And that might be the nicest looking Darth Vader card. There's a green one that I think says the Dark Lord of the Sith, which I like more. But that is probably the biggest sale that's ever been for that card. So that's pretty cool. I mean, again, the market is the market, and it gets to decide. Like the Han Solo PSA 10 sold for 10.8. The number 58 Sells for more, but only in lower grade, right? If you want an 8 or 9 of that card, it actually costs more than the number 4. Here we get. See, we're this should give you a sense of like what world do you want to play in. I mean, he just, these are Topps Chrome 2023 refractors. They're PSA 10s. I just, again, I like, my apologies if these are your cards. Don't ever fucking do this where you tell me the PSA ready. Yeah. Here's some Darth Maul. Now this sale can't be real. I won't. I'm not even going to go look it up on. This is a Bo-Katan out of 10 best car. I mean, it says best offer. I think I could buy that card for $35. Right? That would be. I mean, it's a PSA 10, so you want to double that and say 70. Sure, why the hell not? I don't know who the hell's buying an Ahsoka PSA 8 of a random card. Go right ahead. I've got 40 of that card. I'm sure they're all average 8.5, 9. Yeah, I mean, you're getting the sense here. I'm gonna do some stuff in a minute where I'll just hit a sort button and we'll look at the highest sales for a while. So my overall opinion of the Star Wars card market is like, I did a video like a month ago about like a Star Wars market card crash, and it really has, in some sense, that like if you want to rush to the door to try to sell your cards, you're going to get murdered. But if you select the cards you like carefully, you will probably do okay. And don't spend your money on grading cards. Like I said, the only cards that I would grade that are 2018 or newer are like either a card that you just want to protect or that you just can't buy, right? Like it's like my biggest piece of advice that I give people when they ask me what cards should I be buying, the ones you can't, right? What I mean by that is like if you went on eBay right now and you're like, I want such and such card. I'm very particular. I'm Rogue One, Mandalorian. Like a lot of those cards are really hard to find. Those are cards I want to buy because you can't. I mean, here's a perfect example of a Beskar Chrome. I'm big into Mandalorian, and like I've turned this type of stuff down. It's out of 10, PSA 10, gets you $30, right? Like if you there's a lot of like, I want to be the guy who buys this, not the guy who got a box and graded it. I don't want to be any of the I don't want to be anybody but the person who paid $30 for this. And even them, they paid $6.25 in shipping. They're in for $40. I don't know. I just like it's not a bad deal. It's just not a great deal. But then we see here somebody's, I don't know, buying these cards. Is this 2 of these? You can get 2 Luke Skywalkers for the price of 1. They're PSA 8s. I mean, if you're grading base Luke Skywalker chromes, you got to, reconsider why you're grading cards. Yeah, there are people out here. I mean, a new Padawan 9. I mean, it's not a bad price. It's just like, and the other thing I'll say is like, when I see an older card, I'm like, hey, there might have been a reason that, I have cards where the market was hot for a little bit, and I graded some cards, and by the time I got them, the market had cooled down, and it wasn't really a mistake at the time. It was a mistake. A lot of this is speculation. Yeah, I don't know what a lot of these are best offers, so it's really hard to tell. Let's go look at the highest price. Red sort by highest price. My cigar keeps going out. Yeah, I'll look at wax prices too. Highest first. I wish I knew how to do this in a sense where I thought it was interesting that somebody bought the a PSA 8 set for, I don't know what it is. Am I going to have to go to 130 point? I should, because when I go to 130 point, I can do the search, and if it doesn't crash my fucking computer, I can do Star Wars PSA and then do highest price, and it'll get rid of a lot of the other shit. I'm going to do a video actually on researching cards. and like how to research cards, not just like sales data is part of it, but like other parts. So we can see here like that Rosario Dawson, I don't know what the hell that is, signed. I don't know if that's hand signed or whatever. Was actually listed for 15,000, sold for $1,900. So does that really matter? That set was listed for 8,000 and sold for 8,000. It's only 66 cards. The person paid, like, you throw out the Luke. Let's just say you pay 1,000 for the Luke. You're at 7,000. You're paying $100 a card for the rest of that. That's insane. That's a rare instance where somebody got more because it was the whole thing than separately, right? Like, there isn't another card. I mean, yeah, like the Vader, you might have to, you can probably find the Vader. There are maybe 3 or 4 cards that might cost over $100 in a PSA 8. So bad buy by that person. Here, I was mentioning super factors before. Here's a Hayden Christensen, Anakin Skywalker, 2023 Chrome Auto Super Factor, $5,100. You tell me you want this card over, like, I'm not saying want, like, you can never sell it. I want it in my room, or investing. Like, to put $5,100 into that card versus a PSA 10 Princess Leia or a PSA 9 Luke Skywalker, you're crazy. You can see that most of these sales, Natalie Portman. I'm just not a fan of almost all super. I'm not a fan of a super factor that comes out of anything that they're going to make another one next year. So like you would get me to be more into a super factor of a Galaxy card than of a Topps Chrome card, because next year they'll just make another Darth Vader, so here's Carrie Fisher autos, Hamill autos. Like I would tell you that, like, the hits in the modern product, this you can buy for a fraction of the cost now. So I don't know. I mean, like, listen, markets move, markets change. We're looking at $2,300 for, we saw a bunch of stuff sell tonight for $1,000. Like, if this card was at auction tonight, this swing across the thing would have went for a quarter of that, maybe. I don't know. Like it's, but we're not seeing, we're not seeing a lot of, whatever, modern super fractors out of Topps Chrome, right? We're just not seeing it, right? Like, we'll go back over here and look at what these things say. Similar, but there will be a lot of, I guess I should probably just do Star Wars cards. Here's a 2023 Manga Madness. I don't know. I mean, listen, cards that you like, sure. Autos, I just cannot get behind right now. Yeah, I mean, listen, collecting is just a mild form of some sort of mental deficiency. It's like the line between collecting and hoarding, or OCD, is very slight. So why we buy what we buy. I mean, I put a video up of, I've just bought 2 Mandalorian rookies out of 25, and I pay a lot of money for them. And it's like, I don't know, if I'm not in the market, who would buy them? But you also can't buy them. We're whipping through these. I mean, I'm looking for, I guess, like the 2020. Here, let me try it. Let me try something different. All right, here we go. Star Wars. Now we're gonna want to hit non-sport trading singles. Oh, geez. Piggy bank. I'm gonna get into piggy bank at some point. You're like, what the fuck is piggy bank? Yeah, what the fuck is piggy bank? Like piggy bank. So you see this $10,000 didn't show up in our list on the other one. I'm surprised this one didn't, but maybe it's just, this isn't PSA, right? Here, let's go back over here and let's just do top Star Wars and see if we get bigger sales, because that's all PSA. Yeah, I mean, listen, everybody buy what you want to buy, but for me, I like to combine the idea of speculating on what I think will have value in the future, and also what I like. I want a cross section of the two. I don't want to overpay for something I don't like. That's weird. Oh, because this is sorting by list price. Here's a quad booklet that sold for 6,500. So that superfractor that was listed, that's from 2021 Chrome Galaxy, the True Galaxy, sold for that price. Somebody paid $5,700 for the Mark Hamill Galaxy Superfractor. When I say Galaxy cards before, I meant one that they can't make every year. Like, hey man, if this is your thing, this is your thing. But I would rather own a Princess Leia card, and I think over time it'll pan out. Same shit here. Like these continue to be these Hayden Christensen. I mean, one thing that I know is that one person, and certainly two people, can move a market crazily. Meaning, if there are two Darth Vader collectors or super collectors who have money, the prices of these things are not, they are what they are. Because that's like, this market is small enough that one person or two people can move the market. I myself one time moved the market severely early on. I was buying everything. Watched somebody move the Ahsoka market like crazy. And when you extract that singular person, everything kind of falls down. So we're seeing a lot of these, cards, 3,000 GBP, it's like 4,000 US, I think. So we're seeing a lot of, $3,000 cards. Certainly these are not graded cards. Yeah, I mean, I'm just like, I think a lot of these are, instant losses for the most part. Like, I know my buddy had that card, I think. Yeah, just something to think about. Let me add 2024 on here. So like there is plenty of money in the Star Wars card market right now. It's just you clearly don't want to own what there's a lot of, right? Even when we're looking at this stuff, it's like the money is in what there's not a lot of. But you also don't want to own, like, I don't know, we were looking at a Riva card earlier. You don't want to own a Riva, an out of 5 Riva isn't going to do anything for you, right? Like, you got to look at the pillars of Star Wars, whether it's Padme, whether it's Darth Vader, whether it's Grogu, whether it's Luke Skywalker. I don't know why a Garza flip sold for that amount. When I do searches and I see that the cases come up and those things sell for more than the actual cards, that always makes me laugh, because basically it's like you could buy a case and I think I'm going to do a separate video on 2024 Galaxy, but what I will show you, Galaxy box. Let's see what these things are selling for. Topps Chrome 2024 versus Topps Chrome 2024 Galaxy. I think is an interesting thing to look at. Let's see, most recent sales. Those two things, I'll go look in the wax prices now. Hobby packs, don't ever buy loose packs. But these boxes are essentially selling for like 2 to 250, like 225, 250 right now. I mean, a lot of these are 250, but you saw 4 for something, 230, 750, 245. Like, I think they're under pressure. I think these things come down to around $200. Just something to keep in mind now, whereas Topps Chrome, this stuff came out at 200 or 220 bucks. I guess at GameStop you get it cheaper from Topps. I think it was like 210, 220. These are just okay. So now here's a Chrome hobby box that went for 200 bucks. For a while, these things were as much as 400, but they came out at 100. So they're still way more than they came out at retail. Whereas the Galaxy are basically the same price. And what I've been seeing for the most part is that on eBay, it would cost more money to buy a basic Chrome box than it would be to buy a Galaxy box. And I know that even myself included was, before Galaxy came out, I was like, I'm going to get a case because I'm going to be able to kill it. And then as it got closer, I was like, you know what? That's a lot of money, and I don't even like Galaxy. So I didn't do it more because I didn't know if there was the upside, but I also was like, there are surer shots out there. All right, so we're going to go over here. We're going to look at some Star Wars. Okay, so I wanted to look at some boxes that recently sold. The breaker market, the whatnot market, has really messed with people's heads on what these boxes are worth. The first box that's up here is a 2015 Rebels unopened box. This is not a hobby box. I think maybe the only thing you can hit in here is a sketch that you can't hit in a blaster, and I'm not even so sure of that. I don't see anything on here that says sketches. I don't. So, like, if you want to buy a blaster of these things, which I think the blasters come with 6 packs, it comes with 24. You can readily buy them for $170, which is even a crazy price. So that you could buy 4 blasters for $680, and this went for $790. So with taxes and shipping, $900, you're insane. Like, I'm almost certain that Donkey Kong box. We got to open this in a new tab and bid on it, right? Listen, again, you spend your money. I'm everything is under the auspice that, like, hey, you want to get the most for your money. Like, there are things where you just don't care. The person who bought this Rebels box might not have cared, but, like, I don't know what PSA 10. There's only one PSA 10 Rebels card that might command that price, and that's a Sabine foil. And the only one that I've ever seen sold for $150 raw. I know somebody who bought the whole set minus the Sabine for $1,000. So this is just a foils, and you get 4. I think you get 6 foils or something. They come 1 in 3 packs. You get 8 foils or in this box. No way. It means you got 12% chance hitting Sabine. There's no way you get the value back in this box. Masterwork 2017. I don't know enough about it, but 1141. I mean, what card can't you buy from 2017 Masterwork at this price? You got some wrappers. Jesus Christ. We got 96 chromium. I guess you can hit you can buy some PSA 10 refractors for this price. Just for the most part, these are breakers. Go on whatnot and then sell these things because they break them up into teams. There's nothing wrong with I have no problem with the market or whatever. And whatnot's a lot about entertainment. I do whatnot. I'm going to go back on whatnot. I take a different approach of, like, I buy a bunch of singles and stuff cheap, and then people do well. They just benefit from the way that I do. Ooh, look, $2,100 for a 77 series 3 box. Now, I'm talking fun. Empire season 3 box here. I mean, Galaxy Series 2. I don't know anything about Galaxy, but, like, I see them on whatnot and they sell for a lot. $107. The Costco boxes. Here's a Battle Plans hobby box. I bought a Battle Plans 101 for $66. I don't know. I just, like, I get it. I love to rip too. I do, like, a lot of pack openings on my YouTube shorts, and I love doing it. But, like, I learned long ago that I don't chase high-end cards and rips because maybe I don't think I'm lucky. I actually think I'm just, I expect to get about average, right? So if I expect to get average, I'm going to get killed. Eight 10s here. Oh, wow. I'd have been in on that. $30 a 10. Like, see, like, that's where it's like, I get sucked in. These cards are valueless. Like, there's nothing you can hit out of Obi-Wan other than a Ewan McGregor or maybe a Hayden Christensen auto that would even pay $240. And that's, like, the odds are almost nil. My God, somebody paid $125 for a wide vision box. Chrome Perspectives. I mean, that has huge hits in it. I just, like, I've been looking at wax because I want to buy wax for to do the box strips, like the Sapphire Chrome. There's a video out there to be done on the 101 Luke that's $250,000. I wish I knew a little more about Galaxy because I don't. Because I want to make fun of the price of these boxes, but, like, I literally don't know. Just don't know what the hell you can pull out of them that would justify these prices. These are some of the worst boxes ever. The worst, like the last 2 Sapphire boxes of Phantom Menace and Return of the Jedi are just awful. Bounty Hunters, here's 2022 Galaxy. Like that was part of the reasoning for not buying the Galaxy. I couldn't even get a case, honestly. Like I thought I was going to be able to get a case at cost, and I couldn't. But I also looked at it. I'm like, the last 2 years, really, like this didn't sell for 310. It's basically they're still selling for what they sold for before. Flagship, it might be fun to rip. Robin Hood, Prince of Thieves. Okay, now we're talking I don't know. I guess I must have missed this. Mandalorian season 1. Like, this is my favorite thing to rip because I'm just way into Mando right now. Like, it hits a sweet spot of me if I get to collect the modern cards, and I get to try to hit cards that you can't buy. Whereas, like, on most modern stuff, you can buy anything. Here's that other Sapphire that I was talking about. But yeah, especially if you're somebody who's out there in the breaker streets, it's always good to know what you could buy the stuff for. Like, not that you shouldn't do it on there. A lot of it's convenience. And the other part, I always compare it to like going to a bar and buying a drink. I don't go to a bar to buy a bourbon on the rocks and think, oh yeah, this is the cheapest place to get this. I'm here to enjoy myself, the atmosphere and the fun. If I want to buy bourbon at the cheapest price, I go to the liquor store and then I go drink it at home, right? That's what you're paying for and whatnot. But you should know if like, no, I actually just want to drink bourbon. I don't really care about the atmosphere or the other stuff. It's like, okay, well then go on eBay and buy this. Got a Return of the Jedi box. Why does this keep telling me I'm getting outbid on this Donkey Kong thing? Like, I get it. I'm outbid on again. Donkey Kong. Yes, we get it. I'm not going to win the Donkey Kong box. Here's some other Star Wars boxes. Return of the Jedi, BBCE. You got, what's this, Series 3? It's weird. Wasn't the other one a Series 3? Book of Boba Fett. Again, something else that, like, I should have done David Adams and oh my God, this fucking special. You people are going to kill me with this. I'm just going to leave it up there. How about that? Here's a Clone Wars box that sold for $275. And a friend who bought a Clone Wars box and didn't get a foil card out of it. There's always, taking chances. I'll buy Book of Boba Fett blasters, but I ain't paying no $750 shipping for it. Here's $15. I bought Boba Fett blasters. I buy all sorts of stuff, but I buy the stuff to rip that gets my Rip Jones out. And I hope that like at least there's something in there that could get it back to me. Like, I buy a Boba Fett blaster for $10. Yeah, I could hit a serial number, whatever, Rosario or Mando or hit an auto. All those things are in play. I get my Rip Jones out and then I go buy a good card. So like I buy the blasters for whatever, here's 6 of them for 15. It probably was less. And and then I go buy, like, I'll rip 2 blasters for $20 and I'll go buy a $25 card. I'll be like, see, that was better than a hobby box. I got the rip and I got the card I wanted. And everybody's not me. Other people are like, no, I'm going to be super lucky and win all this stuff. Here's Masterworks from last year, Force Awakens. Oh, this is all in the last couple of days. Right? This is all recent. This is all in the last 3 days. So there's tons of people buying wax. Most people like ripping wax. It's how you got into card collecting. You're like, I rip packs, I pull cool stuff. And I think that wasn't me. This is probably my, like, price wise, that like if you have to go buy a hobby or you have to rip something, rip Mando season 2. That's what I would tell you, because everything's in play in Mando season 2. It's $20. It's cheaper than Topps Chrome. There are autos. You're not going to hit a guaranteed auto, but like again, looking at these 2 products right here, this I don't even know. Like, I thought you can't hit any serial numbered or autos in these. Not that I want it, but in these you can. So that's why I would do those. But yeah, so wax prices are holding in much stronger for the most part than the singles, which is because we all enjoy ripping boxes. And I think if I could recommend to you is that healthy mix of do as little ripping as you can, and try to just hunt the singles the best you can. more Mandalorian season 2 boxes for $20. I guess I have to get out there and buy them. I really, with this, I specifically decided there are cards out there that are around this price. Like you can buy a card an out of 25 or an out of 10. Sometimes I bought an awesome out of 10 the other day for $25. I'm like, how do I justify spending $20 on a box when I can buy an out of 10 that I want for $25? Like you're not going to hit it. But yeah, that's kind of like, I could go on and on. I think I'm going to do a video specifically about Galaxy. As I said, this, I usually do a lot about the 77 market. We can look at this Luke. Luke is always kind of the bellwether of the whole hobby, to see that, we continue to get more Lukes graded, which I have no problem with. I think that there's a huge appetite for the Luke card. It's, it definitely waters down certain grades, but hey, listen, the price has held up strong in 7s, 8s, and 9s. If you have them, it holds up, and it's worthwhile. Overall, like I've been telling people that I think the market is beginning to heal. It's like, after whatever, the meteor hit the earth and we had the ice age, things began to thaw. I think people are beginning to realize, don't overpay for wax. Don't grade everything. Don't, look at what somebody's charging for shipping. Everybody's being a little wiser, and that, don't overvalue a PSA 10 versus a PSA 9. And buy stuff. Don't purely speculate. Do buy things that you care about. And, there's a mixture of both that you can do. And, yeah, I mean, I like to do these videos. I mean, I earlier I did look at the gem rate stuff. What other, they have their blog. Like I can go into that. Like I don't mess around with the how many cards were graded last month. I do like to look at the non-sports and be like, hey, they graded. I wish they would break this down a little bit better here, but PSA graded 51,000 non-sports cards last month. Which is, listen, it's more than hockey or soccer or a lot of other things. So it is behind football, baseball, basketball, and TCG. It's fifth. So this market is growing. The number of people interested in non-sports cards is higher than it's ever been. I think that's good. I think, but the issue is that there are some parts of it where the supply is far outstretching the demand, and that's kind of my recommendation, is to look at cards that aren't those type of things. The things that are rarer, and that like the top of the market will do well. The bottom of the market, like 90% of cards are going to be worthless, and don't overpay for that 8-9% that is worth something, because that's what I still see. People are like, I want that out of 10, blah, blah, blah. And they overpay for it. And I do see people seeking out information that allows them to be, a more refined collector, meaning like they're not just chasing the flavor of the month. They're like, I like this. And if my thing is, I like character, like what I call rookie cards. There's a debate over what a rookie card is, but to me, what I personally think is a rookie card of big characters. That's what I chase. Now, do I think you should do that? Of course, because that's what I like. And you're like, well, I don't understand why you don't like what I like. But in truth, kick this back up here. Where am I over here? In truth, you like what you like. I like what I like. And the market decides that who likes, the market says there are more people like this than there are cards. And that's why the price goes up. And that's where we worry about pricing and population and sales and trends and all the stuff that I've been looking at here. That's, what I like to, it's part of the fun for me in the hobby, is that is trying to predict where it's going to go a little bit. I'm addicted to the data, but I don't just use like a standard data point like a population report or like a card ladder or a market movers. Those are all helpful, but they're built with bias, and none of it's perfect. So, and neither is my interpretation of the data, but it gets me where I want to go, right? Like it led me to buy cards that I love and that I don't want to sell, right? So those are the cards that I really want to have in my collection. The cards that, like, man, I don't want to sell these. I bought the 2 Mandalorians, and one of my friends was supposed to get the other one. It was like if you want me to type of thing. And then I bought them, and I was like, I don't think I want to. I don't want to keep both of them. He said he was cool with it. I said, you really want it? He's like, yeah, I thought you just, if you didn't want it, we would split it. So I'll probably end up giving it to him in the end because I feel guilty. It wasn't like I'm not welching on a deal. Trust me, I would not welch on a deal. It was just more of like he was backup if I didn't want both of them, and I kind of want both of them. But now I know how good of a deal it was and how great those cards are, and I feel bad, kind of having both of them, and he's my friend. So, yeah. I think that's going to do it for me. Usually I would do about 2 hours on this, but I'm tired, and Albert's snoring. It's Fat Russell's birthday. I'm hungry. Football's back on. And I'm going to do more individual videos. This is, for the hardcores who love the market and the update and all the pop report and the sales data and all that other shit. But yeah, and remember to like and subscribe.
Cards is the best.
If you're watching this and somehow you're not subscribed, come on, you got to do it. It's like stealing. I have a very particular goal I'm trying to get to in number of subscribers. It's just a personal goal. There's no monetary value to it for me. It's just something that, like, sometimes I get that way where it's like collecting, where I'm like, I want this. And I decide to put in the work to try to get that. So, like, do me a favor. Like, subscribe, tell a friend. You have a friend who's into Star Wars cards. You're like, you ever watch this idiot NotSports cards? He's absolutely out of his fucking mind. And but he's entertaining, right? Like, that's what I'm here for. I've been meaning to say this for a while, and I'll say it more often, which is I'm here, number one, to entertain myself. Because if I don't entertain myself, then this is work, and I don't want to do it. Number two, I'm here to entertain you. That's it. I'm here to entertain, not like some sort of like not financial advice. This is not like this fucking cardboard with pictures of Darth Vader on it, right? Like, man, don't take it so seriously. I'm just here, like, hopefully to make your life a little bit easier, pass the time when you're doing work or something else, and I hope I do that for you. So remember, the way you can thank me, like, subscribe, send me, incredibly valuable cards that I can use to finance my dog's horrible addiction to candy. Other than that, I'm NotSports Cards, and
Away we go. Welcome to NotSports Cards.
That's gonna
World's greatest